Today's video exposes the sneaky airport scams that will target travelers as they're heading home from their trip. We'll uncover exactly how scammers trick you and how you can keep yourself and your belongings safe as you wrap up your vacation. The first scam happens as soon as you get dropped off at the airport for your flight home. When entering some airports, you'll go through an initial security check where your luggage is put through a scanner and your ID is verified. I personally had an unexpectedly bad experience with this initial security scan when I was flying out of Egypt at the Sharm el-Sheikh airport. After my luggage passed through, it was nowhere to be found. I was frantic and not able to effectively communicate the problem to the airport security staff due to the language barrier, so they were not able to help me locate the bag. It turns out that it was grabbed by a baggage handler assisting a large family, and I spotted it at a check-in counter just as it was about to be checked in for their flight. I was so relieved to have found my suitcase and assumed that it was just a mix-up as opposed to an intentional scam. But then, once I got home and did a little bit more research, I found many cases of the exact same thing happening to multiple international travelers at the same airport. Do your best to hang on to your luggage and transport it on your own, while also being cautious of baggage handlers who may be a little bit too eager to help. Be prepared to be firm and say no if they insist on taking your luggage and try to grab it from you. While these baggage handlers may seem helpful at first, another common scam is that they carry your bag for a very short period of time, and then they insist on a hefty tip, and possibly even become aggressive and refuse to give you back your bag if you don't pay up. Let us know down in the comments which country you will be traveling to next, and while you're down there, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as Ollie and I would love to see you back here for more videos soon. The second scam to be on the lookout for as you arrive at the airport for your flight home is the Fast Pass scam. There is no Fast Pass. You've just arrived at an international airport and are ready to check in for your flight back home. Out of the blue, someone dressed like they work there comes up to you. They seem official enough and they ask to see your flight ticket. As they examine your ticket, they give you a worried look and they mention that either your flight has been moved up or possibly that the security lines today are incredibly long and you are at risk of missing the flight. And then they offer a solution. They offer to sell you a fast pass through security. They mark your ticket and tell you that this mark is a special pass for the front of the line and it all costs $50. Relieved, you pay the fee or head to a conveniently located ATM to then pay the fee, or even on their phones now they have a QR code where you can scan and send money on the spot, which makes the scam seem even more legitimate. However, when you do get to the security line and you present your ticket with the Fast Pass marked on it, the security officer lets you know that there is no Fast Pass and then directs you to the back of the security screening line. You might think that a traveler would need to be quite naive to fall for that, but it can be difficult to tell who is actually an airport or airline official in a foreign country due to the varying uniforms. And when you're flustered and there is someone there to help who also happens to speak English, it can be a relief to follow their advice. Always be extra cautious in the departures area before you head through the security checkpoint, as this space is accessible to anyone, not just airline or airport employees, and not just ticket holders. But as you will see from this next scam, sometimes the airport and airline staff and even the airport security are in on the scam. You are susceptible to the currency confiscation scam when you have some local currency left over in your wallet and you make it to the airport to fly home. Looking to swap it for US dollars, you find a currency exchange booth right at the departures entrance. Unfortunately, they're out of US dollars, or at least this is what they tell you, but they mention that there's another exchange booth inside the airport past the security checkpoint, and they should have plenty of US dollars for you to exchange. At the security checkpoint, you are asked to empty your pockets before going through the body scanner. When you reveal your local currency, the officer informs you that it's illegal to take it out of the country and that they must take it from you on the spot. This scam takes advantage of travelers who are unfamiliar with the local currency regulations and uses the authority of security staff to enforce seemingly credible rules. There are a ton of cases from travelers experiencing this when leaving countries like Cuba and Morocco. There are quite a few cases online documented on sites like Reddit of travelers claiming that they went through the airport security checkpoint with bills in their pocket didn't set off the security scanner, but then were randomly selected and told to empty their pockets, at which point they had to forfeit the foreign currency. Suspicious. I would not be surprised to learn that the security screening officer and whoever it is at the foreign currency exchange counter happen to be working on this scam together. Travelers have lost hundreds due to this, and the best way to avoid it would be to exchange or spend local currency prior to heading to the airport. If you end up stuck and you have nothing to spend it on and nowhere to exchange it, consider loading it onto a gift card for a global chain like Starbucks or McDonald's, which you can redeem anywhere in the world. We will discuss other security scams soon, as they're critical to know since going through airport security at an international location can be quite different from going through TSA airport security in the US. And it's important to know what to expect so you can stay alert and not get flustered. But first, I have a little bit more corruption to share with you from the airline and airport staff before you even make it to the security line that you need to be on the lookout for. Continuing with the types of scams that might catch you off guard as you prepare to return home, the rigged baggage scale scam stands out for its frustratingly subtle and potentially high cost. The rigged scale scam can get you whether you have luggage to check in or you are flying with just a carry-on suitcase. This scam typically happens at the check-in counters or even at the boarding gates as you go to get on the plane. Here's the usual scenario. You place your bags on the airport scale and the reading is surprisingly higher than what you would have expected. The weight of your bag might be just high enough to tip your luggage over the airline's weight limit, triggering a hefty excess baggage fee. There are several reasons that these scales might give incorrect readings. They could be intentionally miscalibrated, or not reset from the previous use, or they're simply old and not maintained to the standards that you might expect, especially compared to the scales that are found in US airports, which undergo regular checks. I was flying with a friend out of Vietnam, and when we approached the check-in desk, they weighed my carry-on, and it turned out that it was a couple pounds over the airline's weight limit. Despite me insisting that bringing a portable luggage scale along was a waste of space, I was quite relieved that my friend did not listen to me and brought one with her. We ended up weighing my carry-on suitcase at the airport right in front of the check-in agent, and it showed that it was 1 pound under the weight limit. However, the big trouble with this scam, and similar ones that we'll discuss soon, is that knowing you're right often doesn't change the outcome. The airline or airport staff have the final say, and if they insist on you paying a fee in order to bring your luggage on board, you're put in a tough spot. Either pay up or miss your flight entirely. In the end, it did not matter what our portable luggage scale said, and the airline check-in agent suddenly couldn't speak English apart from check carry-on bag in or don't fly. That was quite frustrating, and at a time like this, there's not much else you can do except pay the fee and take the flight. It was a frustrating reminder that sometimes, even being prepared doesn't save you from these airport ripoffs. Going through airport security in other countries can be confusing, especially when there is a language barrier and perhaps processes in place that you aren't used to. I remember being so confused when I took my first flight out of India and didn't realize that there was a separate line for men and for women. I ended up loading the security bins while standing in the men's line and then being flagged over to the women's line and not being able to grab my stuff, and it was a whole mess. I was also caught off guard because in the women's line, the body scan is done in a closed-off, secured area, which meant that I wasn't able to keep an eye on my stuff. It's easy to see how foreigners can be an easy target for scammers when you are going through international airport security. Scammers and thieves will try to distract you, slip their security bin in between your bins to separate your items, and then the most common scam at international airport security involves someone pretending to help you with your items, but then they actually intend to steal from you. Or they simply distract you by pretending to help you while someone else steals from you. There are plenty of scams targeting travelers arriving in a new country that you definitely want to be aware of before your next international flight, such as taxi scams and ATM scams that can cost you big time. I've put together a video detailing the top scams to watch out for as soon as you land so that you can start your vacation off on the right foot. You'll find a link to the video in the description below, and I'll also put it up on the screen now. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join us back here for more travel tips and hacks each week, and I will see you in that next video soon. Bye.